So today's video blog's a little bit different than you're typically used to on my channel. For those that don't know, I have a degree in philosophy and a degree in humanities that I got from Simon Fraser. My goal with philosophy has always been presenting it to people in a way that is relatable to everyone. Now, I know that philosophy is not generally something that everyone just picks up and enjoys, but I do believe that it is something that all of us have in our lives, or at least have the capacity to have in our lives in a regular practical sense. So the way that you critically think about what's going on around you, there's some level of philosophy that's happening there. As soon as you engage in what's going on around you, create your own opinions or beliefs, you're engaging in philosophy. What I wanted to talk about today is not fitness related. It's more related to just observations of everything that's going on right now, and just a little bit of my personal beliefs behind it. It is political based, so it may upset some people, but take it with a grain of salt. As I said, it's just opinion based, and I'm not expecting everyone to agree with me. So I'm not here to sway you on whether you should be voting for Hillary or whether you should be voting for Trump. My personal belief is it doesn't really make a difference who you're voting for. There shouldn't be a lesser of two evils, and unfortunately the reality of the situation is democracy is dead. And the reason I say that is because as a society, we've taken on this victim mentality where we let life come at us and we react to it. Instead of being proactive in the things that we do, we just take it as it is and react in the sense. So as far as with politics right now, we're presented Trump and Hillary. Nobody really likes either of them, and we react to going, well, the lesser of two evils. What does that mean? It means that no matter what choice you make, there's going to be kind of the same outcome. Whether you go with Trump or Hillary, you're going to be left with probably a society that is less than stellar. A lot of that has to do with the fact that we as a society are putting blame on those figures for the issues that are going on with politics, society, any kind of social, political realm. We put our blame onto these figures that we elect. It happened with Barack Obama, where he was supposed to be the change. He gets elected, and then everyone shits on him. And it has nothing to do with him, it just has to do with having a scapegoat, because us as a society doesn't want to take blame for the things that are going on around us. It doesn't matter the person that you place on the pedestal for us to throw garbage at and to blame for our problems. What we need to be doing is reflecting at the things that we're doing and why it's happening. Ultimately, we give these people powers by doing things like taking the lesser of two evils. Instead of saying, maybe we should take accountability for the actions that we're doing. What are the alternatives to electing these people? Neither seem fit to be president, but yet we're going, well, this person I believe is more fit than the other. Why is that our only solution? It seems like everyone's kind of forgotten the fact that there's independent parties or revolt, revolution, all of those kinds of things have kind of gone to the wayside because we as a society don't take accountability for our actions, and we've kind of lost the ability to come together as a collective, because that requires us taking accountability for the fact that we are governing ourselves. We are autonomous creatures, but we're not. We don't act in that way anymore. We sit complacently behind a veil and allow media and allow social media to come at us, and we just absorb it like sponges. We're no longer autonomous. We're no longer engaging in the world around us. We get fed, we accept it for what it is, and we just continually perpetuate it through social media, which is how things like Trump and Hillary become so popular without having any kind of opposition against them, where again, people are going to one side or the other. But why aren't you critically engaging with the fact that neither of them are fit to be president? There's nobody that's engaging with any of the kind of alternative resources that are going out there. It's literally your gaze has been drawn to these two people, that you're so tunnel visioned into believing that these are the only two options, instead of realizing that there is an infinite amount of options, and as autonomous creatures, we can choose to not go along with what we are guided to. People seem to forget that society isn't an idea. It's an idea that comes from the ability of us to come together as a collective, which has now been masked by the media that keeps us together. If we choose not to engage in that idea and choose to put our energies into something differently, come together as a collective in something else that's maybe a little more positive, then we're shifting that gear towards just choosing a lesser of two evil. Create a new solution. There's always a different solution. We're not always having to go one way or the other. It's not black or white. It's definitely a gray area. I'm a realist in a lot of the things that I do and say, so I mean, the idea of us just coming together in an alternative solution is slim to none. What I moreover want to bring to light with this is just the fact that we need to stop just clicking into social media and taking it in as truth. We just read, accept, and sponge information that we don't ask ourselves who, what, when, where, and why. Specifically, why? Why, or the validity of the information that is coming at us. I'm so huge on critically engaging with the world that's around us. Why not actually go and engage with information and discussion that you're open to absorbing ideas and critically creating a thought chain that takes you from one idea to another, that then creates a collective of information that helps you come to your decision. Instead of just being fed what the media is feeding you, which unfortunately the media is funding most of this political ideas going around. We live behind such a strong, thick veil of misinformation and misguidance. We don't have to, because that's why we have things like our ability to critically think, which is something that I believe that we're not executing as much as we should. So instead of just taking everything for what it is and living behind that veil that is so lovely, ignorance is bliss, I suppose, maybe open your eyes to a world that is not always honest. Unfortunately, politics is just lies. Whether you're on the Trump side or the Hillary side, it's just lies. And it takes you having to critically engage with the information that's coming at you and ask yourself the questions of why. Where is it coming from? Who's the source? What are the motives behind it? What are the biases behind it? That kind of stuff. As victims, we're not going to take accountability for the fact that we are the problem. These people are just a symptom of our negative mentalities and the fact that we've given the media this power to begin with. It's really, really hard to wrap your head around the concept that we give these people power, because we come together and we stand behind them and we ooh and we ah and we buy into the media and we buy into this frenzy and we perpetuate the information and the misinformation instead of just removing yourself and being some kind of autonomous thing. Again, society is an idea that we've created as we've come together. It's not an actual physical thing. It's just a concept. If together we decide that we're sick of the concept, then together we can decide to create a new idea of the society. If we all choose to have a more positive and loving idea and not fuel these mongrels and these fear mongrels, which we do. We've been bullied into being a fearful victim society, because it's easier to control us when we have fear behind us. Because it's mostly there to just coerce you into the camps that people want you in. So really, it's not a debate between who you're going to vote for. It's who do you want to be yourself? Do you want to be a sheep that just follows things around, ignorance is bliss, and perpetuate a society into something that just isn't sustainable? Or do you want to be a part of the change? Hopefully that made sense. just needed to get that off my chest. And speaking of chest, time to go bench. Keep it sleazy, and don't hate me too much.